A good night of Shabbos, all. A good night of Shabbos, Perashat Bereshit. This is where it all begins. This is the first Shabbos. This is ground zero. So the famous question is, Bereshit, why does the Torah start with a base? Why not with an aleph? Why not start from the beginning? So there are many answers to that. One of them is B'Jvil Yisrael Sheni Bereshit, which means that the whole creation was created for Yisrael, which is Reishis, which means that the first thought, the Aleph, is Yisrael. Aluf Ha'Olam and Tchilag Lekama Ma'mamish. It's the first Alba Machshava. The first thought was Yisrael, the Neshamas Yisrael. That was the first creation, the first thought, and because of that, in order for there to be that we should be able to understand, that we should be able to exist. There was a world created because of that, and that is that is that the spirit of Elikim that is hovering above. It's hovering above all. Al Pnei Amoyim, which is that we're going into the Mayim Rabim, we're going into the turmoil of world and to the confusion, and the purpose of to get to everything is to get to the top, to get to the Aleph, to get to, as Asofan Rabbi Shemaiah is talking about, the Nakuda in the base. It's all about the Nakuda. What's the dot? What is happening? Why is all this happening? What is it? What's the reason behind it? So, getting to the point, yes. And that is happening through Dibur. When we speak, when we talk Malchus Peh, when we express ourselves, that is the ultimate separation, the ultimate, that's what's counted. That's what's really counted. That's what brings something in from Olam HaMachshava, from the world of thought, into the world of action, into the world of speech. Now, what happened is that Chava and Adam and Chava, they ate from the Eitz Hadas, which is Tov V'Ra. It's good and bad. And once we enter into that space of Tov V'Ra, it's a 90% Ra, which means the Nachash was Aram Mikoil. The Nachash he was naked. It's Aram means naked. He was completely, let's just say he was, Aram also means he was a spinner. He was a fapper, he was a liar, he was spinning things. And he was also very smart, and it's called naked. He had nothing. Which means that Tov Ra is that even the Tov that happens, anything good that happens Ra, he only sees the Ra in it. He can't help himself, he's a snake. Can't help himself. Whatever good is happening, we can only see the Ra. And from that moment, we entered in a space of going into the snakeskin. We are in Mashka Lechavia, which is the snake of the skin. From that place, we see through there is a block, there is a separation, that whatever happens, if there is chesed, it turns into temptations. If it's gevura, restraint, holding back, having the koich to hold back, it turns into kas, the anger. All that happens because we are in the snakeskin. We're in this organism. We also know that there's the panimi and then there's the makiv, which means that from the place of all the possibilities, where everything is possible, we're going into a makiv, which is from a place of simplicity. It can tolerate anything and everything, but what shows up, the way it plays out, is what's in the center of it. That's what it bounces off from. That's what sends back. That's what we're vibrating back and forth. The vibration that's coming in and going back and forth. The signals, the understanding, everything is based on what is in the center of it. Now, if we have the nachash, the center of all this, whatever is happening, is going to be translated and transmitted into a place of Ra, into a place of more confusion. Adam Arishan was hanging out in Gan Eden. That's where he lived. Shemayim v'aretz, he was in Aretz, but he was in Gan Eden, down here in Aretz. Everything is happening here. What is Gan Eden? Gan Eden is a place of vada. It's a place of certainty. There is no sfekis. There's no doubt. Doubt is there's no, everything is for sure. He's living in a place of vada. Now, what the guf, the body that Adam, the Rishon had, that first man had, was that of a something that was able to, the center, the pnimi, was able to stand in the center of the makiv and be in Gan Eden, which is a place of full connection and full dvekis. Once we ate from the Eitz Hadas, Toivera, it says in Rashi that it's almost like he gave him, we dressed up in a different body, and the signals that we are receiving and transmitting is automatically, we found ourselves out of Gan Eden. Automatically, he was kicked out of Gan Eden, and there's the Lahata Misapeches, there is the sword of fire that keeps turning by the door of Gan Eden, and it doesn't allow him back in, doesn't allow us back in. But Chassidus is explaining, and this is brought down in the Svarim, that you can easily, not easily, but you can enter back in if you're taking all that you're dealing with and all that you're endowed with, and you immediately take it up to a place of dvekas, to oneness, reconnecting to source, you enter back into Gan Eden. Now, the Lata Misapechas is that sword of fire, which is all the doubt and all the everything in the way, lust and anger, resentment, jealousy, all that stickiness and all that pulling and pushing, all that is the snake skin, and that is automatically being transmitted and twisted into a negative, whatever it is that's happening. And we can easily turn that over into a positive by tapping into going back into oneness, going back into connection, and you find yourself back in Gan Eden. You make it back. You make it through the Lata Misapechas. Now, Ein Chodesh Tachas Hashemesh, there's nothing new under the sun, which means that there is nothing new happening. There's just what's happening is triggering something that is within us already. It's something that's within you already, right? Something is happening out in the world, and everybody is going to receive that differently. As you can see, some people are, God forbid, celebrating, and some people, Yimach Shemam, I think we're supposed to say, or not? Okay. Some people are taking it very, very strongly. So we see that it all depends where I'm standing from, and this is what the Eibishter told Adam Ayeka. Remember where you're coming from. You're stuck, you're down there all the way, and this Ayeka is reverberating all the way down here to 2024, Tufshin Pei Dalet, 2023, Tufshin Pei Dalet, going into a place of Aleph, this is where we're from. Aleph, Yud, Ka, that's where we exist. Ka is Malchus, that's where we exist. So it can only trigger something that's within. Now, what is within? Where is the Aleph? If you're going into the Ayeka, if you're going into the Aleph, then everything that's happening is here for a reason. It's a place to we can take it in from the base and go into the water, going into the turmoil and to the tornado, or we can go into the Aleph and listening to the voice that's calling Ayeka and finding the purpose of all this that's happening, finding the purpose of that and bringing it back to the Aleph and bringing it back to the place of light. By doing more mitzvahs, bringing more simcha, bringing more light into your life, more light. Don't worry about feeling. You want to feel the pain. Give blood. Give some blood of light, blood of real power, real blood. Zeh le'umazeh. There is two. Everything has an opposite. That's how it works. There is one that has the opposite. Otherwise, it can't exist. So we have Yisrael Shani Kereshes, B'Yisrael Shani Kereshes, we are Reshes, and there's also Reshes Goyim Amalek. and Torah Mechachma Nafkes, which is that we're dealing here about with the Chachma program. The Torah comes from Chachma, Arais Mechachma Nafkes, and we are Reshit B'Zir L'Sol Shenik Reshis. Amalek is Reshis Agoim. The Amalek is also here too. He's the Umazai. He is on the other side of our Chachma program, which is a certain coldness. Chachma is not an emotional thing; it's an intellect, and he's there to trigger that, bring in that coldness, and we have to process that from a place that of the struggle that we're going through, whatever it is, the certain coldness that you can have a moment, and then that moment is put in back into question, and questioning the moment. That is the Amalek moment, and that program we're done. We finished that, because once we're in program of the with Chachma, we're still in Chaya. There's still something. We're still not fully connected, but we're entering into Yechida, which is the Keser. Now, what is the Umazeh of Keser? That is Yishmael, because Yishmael also davens to the same Eibishter, the same God. They believe in the same God. However, what's the Umazeh in the Keser? So you have the diamond of the crown, and then around the diamond there's a hollow space. There's a space of Choshech. That is the Umazeh, and that's what we're dealing with. Now that is it's very rigid, it's very intense. It seems it can appear very cruel, but that's what we're dealing with. And the way to go in there, of course, there is many ways how this can go down. It can be with absolute simcha, and we've already paid the price so many times. But to go into a line, really, if you want to get the message out of what's going on, you got to go into the crown. You got to go into the keser. You have to put zero emotions into this, and you have to go fully into the keser and hold space from that to light up the diamond, right? Light up the diamond and allow the deeper it gets, the more you're going into hovering above, going in above, which is we're going into the water, we're going into Geshem, we just bench Geshem, going into Marcheshim, which is we're entering into the Teva. And the Teva is rising above. It's going above the water. And that is where we're going back to Veruch Halakim Marachefes Al Panei Hamayim, going into Yechida, going into the Ayakva, going into the Aleph. So Shabbos Bereshit, Shabbos Bereshit is a very, very powerful Shabbos. It's the one Shabbos that is the Malachim together with the Yidden and the Malachim are davening together. It's brought down once again from Rabbi Shemaiah. He's talking about this, about that we have the Malachim have 6 wings, and for each day they daven with 1 wing. There's one expression, and since they were created which means for each day of the week they have 1 wing, but since they were created on the 2nd day, and there is 7 days in a week, but since they were created on the 2nd day, so the 6th day falls out on the 7th day, which is on Shabbos. So when the Malachim come to the Eibishter and they say, we only have 6 wings, who's going to daven, who's going to praise, who's going to sing for you on Shabbos? He says, I have another wing down there in Aretz, which is my children in Yisrael. They're davening for me. They're doing the work on Shabbos. But now today, Shabbos Bereshit is the Malachim and Yisrael are davening together, because they have the extra ring. So this is a Shabbos that is, we're entering into ground zero. We are in the Makav. We are in the base. From the base that we're able to empower. That's empowering us to enter into the Aleph. It's like a slingshot. It's like an arrow going from all the way from the Meitzar being pushed through into the Keser. So super important, especially this week, to say Tehillim, to bring down as many letters and kalim that we can bring in and fill them up with simcha for the people that are out there and doing the work at the edge of the sword that's out there facing this malchus where it meets the full expression of evil and good are meeting face to face. That is the physical showdown. Whatever battle we're dealing with over here, it's no different than what you're dealing with over there. We say for the people that went through a physical sickness, say that the emotional sickness is nothing to compare. The physical sickness is nothing to compare to the emotional sickness. The emotional chol nefesh is way deeper and way tougher than a physical sickness, which means that the pain that we're dealing with and the struggle that we're going through on a daily basis is no different than spilling blood and losing something. the guilt and the confusion, the unknown, and the fears, and everything you're dealing with, and everything we're going through. So this is an opportunity to go into the Aleph and to really be fearless, understanding that we're doing this together as one. Yechida, this is oneness. We're aligning. We're linking up from all over the world, from Eretz Yisrael, which is the center, and everybody. Finally, we have one thing in mind: Netzach Yisrael. We are winning, and we can't be put down. No matter what, no matter how much you push this thing, the more fire, the more you trigger it, the more alive this thing becomes. Why? Because we are the Aleph. This is just a play for us to get into the Aleph. We're not. This is not who we are. We're way deeper than this. This is just the snake skin that finds every reason and every way. No matter what toiv it is, he's always going to find a way around. He's always going to find the spin on challenging it and analyzing it and coming up with different rayonis and how to spin this into a ra, and that is the nachash. So we are going into the ruach, to the spirit. It should be a Shabbos that we should all meet our inner Mashiach. We should find ourselves to light up, to find our kaf, to connect with our brothers in Eretz Yisrael, and all the way back here. Have an awesome Shabbos and Shabbos Mavarchim. We are benching Chodesh Marcheshvan. Marcheshvan is the 1 month, if I'm not mistaken, that doesn't have a mazel. I think so. I'm almost positive, but I didn't necessarily see it this year. So, which means that we are higher than mazel. It's anything can happen. Every minute something else can be. Every minute something else can happen, which is we can fall into this. We can fall in every single day, every single minute. We can fall into a new bria, which is happening anyways. But usually that is covered up by different distractions that we're going throughout the day. That's being put out there. But Chodesh Mechashrim is the month that is free fall. We can just be anything, all the possibilities. And with the weapons that we have now, the awareness and the mindfulness that we were put into this from the current events, from Simchas Torah, we're going to continue dancing. Have an awesome Shabbos and a blessed Chodesh. One more time on the Nachash. I think it's important, since this is where we're stuck. This is where it's at. So the pasuk says, "Va'nachash hoy Aram mikoil, kol chayes hasad asher asa Hashem elikim." The Nachash was Targum touches Aram Chakim. He was the smartest. He was an Ober Chucham. He understood everything. He was clever. He was conniving. He was knew how to manipulate. He was a manipulator. That's really Aram. Aram also means naked. He was naked of all, which means internally, from within, we know that one of the curses he received was that anything that he eats will have the taste of earth, which means that he's Aram, he has nothing, he's naked, he can't, whatever he sees is black and white, whatever he hears is black and white, whatever he feels is black and white. He's connected to the ground, he tastes earth, and all that was in Chodesh Tachas Hashem, which means that all that was already within him. This is just what eventually he evolved into, that came to the surface. And once Adam and Chava ate from the Eitz Hadas, they too experienced the same thing. They realized that they were naked. What does that mean, they were naked and they had to hide? What happened was they experienced a repulsive feeling. They couldn't take the goodness. They were resisting the kindness. Here they are in Gan Eden, and feeling, the warmth and the acceptance and whatever Gan Eden looks like, present, vacus, and their bodies were rejecting it. It's like when something is too good and we're just sensitive to the touch. It's too much for me. Like when one is really down and deep and dark and depressed, and you go into a space that's labidic and there's just an allergic reaction. Leave me alone. Get away from me. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. I just want to be in the hole right now. I want to be in Choshe right now. But what happened is that there was nowhere to turn. They couldn't blame anybody because there was nobody else around. It was just Adam and Chava. I mean, Adam tried for a minute. He tried. He blamed Chava for it. He said to the Eibishter, she's the one, the partner you gave me. She's the one that caused all this. But he immediately had to take ownership. Had he have said right away that, it was me and I take full ownership, then he would have been forgiven on the spot. So it says. But once you're in the snake, once you're in the skin, he couldn't. That was just the way it was supposed to happen. So why is that important? It's important so we understand what we're dealing with. We understand what we're made out of. We understand that the nachash, understand that everything that's happening right now, as long as we are stuck in the body, we're stuck in the snake's skin, we can't see any good in it. The only thing we can see is the black and white. The only thing we can taste is earth. No matter how much goodness is happening. And of course from that place the choshech keeps regenerating, because that's what we're seeing, and if that's what's bouncing off of me, and that's what's sending out, and that's what keeps being created. However, Bereshit, B'Zril Yisrael, going back to the Allah, the purpose of all that is now that once we are stuck within this place, to really, the only place to go to is to take ownership and to go into a place of Amunah, to go into the what happens is that once it starts raining and pouring for 40 days, the teva just went up to the top. It goes up to the top. The teva, the letter, the oisius, your speech, your expression, expressing what you want, saying the oisius, that will bring the teva, that will bring your teva, the teva. We are all, the energy goes into the oisius. When we say the tehillim, we're creating the tevas, which is the oisius, the letters, they are the shells, and once we fill them up with speech, we talk, they take us up to the top. They will take us up to the top of the top of this storm. All right. Have an awesome Shabbos.